Have you ever looked up at the night sky, truly looked and felt just how small you are? It's a feeling that can wash over you in the quiet moments of life. The vastness of the universe, the sheer number of people in the world, the size of the problems we all face. And you might ask yourself, what can I possibly do? How can my small life, my small efforts, ever make a real difference? It's a very human question. We all feel it from time to time. The world can seem so overwhelming, a great and powerful ocean, and we are just a single drop of water lost in the current. This feeling isn't new. It's as old as humanity itself. We carry dreams in our hearts, ideas that feel so powerful and important to us. But when we look at the long road ahead, the journey from a simple thought to a finished reality can seem impossible. We see others who seem to have it all figured out, who are already building great things, and we compare our humble starting point to their towering achievements. It's easy to become discouraged, to believe that what we have to offer is simply not enough to matter in the grand scheme of things. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if the greatest power doesn't come from being big, loud, immediate? What if true, lasting change begins not with a roar, but with a whisper? The story comes to us from a time of great questions, a time when people were searching for meaning, just as we are today. Jesus of Nazareth, a master storyteller, often used simple images from the world around him to explain profound truths. He wasn't speaking to kings and scholars in grand halls. He was speaking to fishermen, farmers, everyday people. He knew their world, the soil, the sea, the seeds. And so, to explain the nature of what he called the kingdom of heaven, he told them this short, powerful parable. As it is written in the Gospel of Matthew, he put another parable before them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it has grown, it is the largest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches." All of this from one tiny seed. Just imagine that scene for a moment. A farmer, his hands calloused from work, holding a seed so minuscule he can barely feel it between his fingers. It seems like nothing. He doesn't throw it away. He doesn't dismiss it because of its size. Instead, he sees its potential. He takes this tiny, seemingly insignificant thing and gives it a home. He plants it in his field, a deliberate act of faith and trust. He knows something about this seed that others might not. He knows that locked inside its dark, tiny shell is a blueprint for something magnificent. He understands that its current form is not its final form. So he plants it, and he waits, trusting in the process of growth that is to come. And what happens? The story tells us that this smallest of all seeds transforms. It doesn't just sprout, it grows and grows, surpassing all the other garden plants. It becomes so large and strong that it is no longer just a shrub, but a tree. Its branches spread wide, creating a place of shelter and safety. The birds of the air, who once flew high above the empty field, now find a home there. They build their nests in its branches, finding refuge and a place to raise their young. This ancient story is not just a historical lesson, it's a living truth we see all around us every single day. Think about the world of technology. Many giant companies started as mustard seeds. They began in a garage with two friends with a single bold idea. Most people dismissed them. It was just a small project, a hobby. They planted that seed of an idea, watered it with hard work and dedication, and it grew into a global tree, changing how we live and connect. Maybe you decide to get healthier. You don't start with a marathon. That would be impossible. You start with a seed, a 10-minute walk. It feels small. You do it again the next day, and the next. 10 minutes becomes 15, then 20. You make small changes to your diet. Over months and years, these consistent efforts grow into a new lifestyle, a new you. It all began with one small step. Social movements start the same way. Not with millions marching, but with a handful in a quiet room, sharing a belief. One person's courageous decision to speak up. A tiny seed of defiance against a giant forest of opposition. That seed inspires another, and another, until a movement grows. Branches offering hope, demanding change for all. Even in our families, we see this, reading one more story at bedtime, offering a hug after a bad day, listening patiently to their worries. These are mustard seeds. They seem small and routine. You are planting seeds of love, security, self-worth. Those seeds grow into compassionate, resilient adults who plant their own seeds. Never underestimate these quiet, daily acts of nurturing. They are building a future. There is a gentle beauty in this idea, isn't there? It frees us from the pressure of having to be perfect or powerful from the very start. It gives us permission to begin where we are, with what we have. If your faith feels small today, that's okay. Plant it. If your dream seems impossible, that's okay. Take the first small step. The parable reminds us that the size of the seed at the beginning has no bearing on the greatness of the tree at the end. The potential is already locked inside. Our job is simply to give it a chance to grow. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. Think about your own life. Can you identify a mustard seed that someone once planted for you? Perhaps it was a teacher who told you that you were a good writer, planting a seed of confidence that grew into a lifelong passion. Maybe it was a friend who listened without judgment during a difficult time, planting a seed of trust that blossomed into a lasting bond. Now the story isn't finished. It continues with you. It continues in the lives of everyone who hears it and takes its message to heart. Each of us has our own mustard seed story. It's the story of how a small beginning led to something wonderful in our lives. Down in the comments below, tell us about a mustard seed in your life. Your story can be the water for their seed. Let's see what we can grow together. This very channel, this space where we gather to share these ideas, started as a mustard seed. It began with a simple thought. What if we could create a place for stories of hope? A place for quiet reflection in a noisy world. It was a small idea, a tiny seed planted in the vast field of the internet. We didn't know if it would grow, if anyone would find shelter in its branches. But we planted it with faith, hoping it would find fertile ground in the hearts of people like you. And because of you, it is growing. Every time you watch a video, every time you like it, you are watering that seed. Every time you share one of these stories with a friend or a family member, you are helping its branches spread wider, reaching more people who might need to hear a message of hope. Every comment you leave, sharing your own wisdom and experience, helps enrich the soil, making this a more welcoming place for everyone. You are not just a passive audience, you are co-creators in this garden. The world needs more places like this. It needs more trees where the birds of the air can come and make their nests. Would you help someone's project to grow and reflect in the wider world? Our channel is a mustard seed. Please like and share for more inspirational stories of hope.